Your body is working against you right now, and you do not even realize it. You eat less, you try to stay disciplined, you follow all the advice people keep repeating, yet the weight stays, the cravings keep coming back, and your energy feels lower every single day. There is a hidden reason behind all of this, and almost no one is talking about it in a way that actually helps you fix it. The truth is, insulin resistance is silently controlling your body, locking fat in place, slowing your metabolism, and making progress feel impossible. And here's the surprising part: it is not permanent, it can be reversed, and it does not require extreme diets, endless workouts, or complicated plans. In this video, you are going to discover the number one insulin trick that can start reversing insulin resistance in a simple and practical way. This is something most people overlook because it sounds almost too easy, yet it directly targets the real problem inside your body. You will understand why your efforts may have failed before, how insulin truly controls fat storage and energy, and the exact change you can start making today to shift your body out of fat storage mode and into fat burning mode. There is also a critical mistake that keeps insulin high all day long, even when people think they are eating healthy, and once you see it, it will completely change how you look at food. As you keep watching, everything will begin to connect. The fatigue, the stubborn belly fat, the constant hunger, all of it starts to make sense. And more importantly, you will finally see a clear path forward that feels realistic and sustainable. This is not about doing more, it is about doing things smarter, in a way that works with your body instead of against it. By the end of this video, you will have a completely new understanding of insulin resistance and a simple strategy that you can actually follow without feeling overwhelmed. So stay with me because the most important part is coming, and it might completely change how you approach your health from today. Welcome to our channel where we break down complex health topics into simple ideas that actually work. If you want more videos like this that help you take control of your body and your health, make sure you subscribe and be part of this journey. You try to eat less, cutting portions, skipping meals, telling yourself this time it will finally work, yet the number on the scale barely moves. Days turn into weeks, and the effort starts to feel heavier than the results. You begin to question yourself, wondering if you are doing something wrong or missing something important. At the same time, your energy feels drained. You wake up tired, move through the day feeling slow, and even simple tasks start to feel like a struggle. It becomes harder to stay consistent when your body feels like it is working against you. Then the cravings begin to take over. It is not just hunger, it is a constant pull towards sugar and quick snacks that feels almost impossible to ignore. You tell yourself you will stay disciplined, but the urge keeps coming back stronger, especially during stressful moments or late at night. Even when you choose healthier options, the cycle repeats itself. You eat, you feel a temporary boost, and then the crash follows, leaving you right back where you started. What makes it even more frustrating is the confusion. Everyone seems to have advice: eat less, move more, avoid this, eat that, but none of it explains why your body reacts the way it does. You follow the rules, yet the results do not match the effort. It feels like there is something deeper going on, something that no one clearly points out. So you keep trying, hoping something will click, while the real issue stays hidden in the background, quietly controlling everything. For a long time, you have been told that calories are the main problem: eat less, burn more, and everything will fall into place. It sounds simple and it feels logical, yet your experience tells a different story. You reduce your food, you stay mindful of what you eat, and still your body does not respond the way you expect. The real issue goes deeper than calories. It is insulin. This hormone quietly controls how your body stores and uses energy, and when it is out of balance, everything begins to shift in the wrong direction. Every time you eat, especially foods high in sugar or refined carbohydrates, insulin rises. That is a normal response. But when insulin stays high for most of the day, your body enters a constant fat storage mode. Instead of using stored fat for energy, your body keeps locking it away. This is why losing weight starts to feel so difficult, even when you are putting in the effort. Your body is simply following signals, and those signals are telling it to store, not burn. Over time, the situation becomes even more challenging. When insulin remains elevated again and again, your cells begin to ignore it. They stop responding the way they should. This is where insulin resistance begins to develop. Your body produces even more insulin to try to get the same effect, and this creates a cycle that keeps repeating itself. More insulin leads to more storage, and more resistance makes it harder for your body to regain balance. As this pattern continues, the effects start to show in ways that are hard to ignore. Weight begins to increase slowly, even when your eating habits do not seem excessive. It feels confusing because the effort is there, yet the results move in the opposite direction. Fat starts to build up, especially around the belly, creating that stubborn area that refuses to change. Clothes feel tighter, movement feels heavier, and confidence begins to drop without a clear reason why. At the same time, your energy levels take a hit. Instead of feeling steady and focused, you experience ups and downs throughout the day. After eating, there might be a short burst of energy, but it fades quickly, leaving you feeling sluggish again. Simple tasks begin to feel more tiring than they should. Motivation becomes harder to maintain when your body does not feel stable or reliable. The internal impact continues to grow as this imbalance stays unchecked. Blood sugar levels start to fluctuate more often, placing extra stress on your system. Over time, this can push your body further away from balance. The signals that control hunger, energy, and fat storage become more disrupted, making everyday habits harder to manage. Gradually, this ongoing cycle increases the risk of more serious conditions developing, including type 2 diabetes, where the body struggles even more to regulate sugar and insulin properly. So, how do you actually fix something that feels this complex and deeply rooted inside the body? At first, it seems like the answer must be complicated. You start thinking you need strict meal plans, intense workouts, or some kind of perfect routine that is hard to follow in real life. That is what most people believe. The idea that only extreme diets can solve this problem becomes very common. Long lists of rules, cutting out entire food groups, counting every bite, pushing through hunger, all of it starts to feel overwhelming very quickly. You might even try some of these approaches, hoping this time things will finally change. For a few days, everything feels under control, but then the pressure builds, the routine becomes harder to maintain, the cravings return, and your energy begins to drop again. It starts to feel like you are stuck in a cycle where every solution demands more effort but gives less in return. That is where frustration grows because it feels like the only way forward is through something extreme and unsustainable. But the truth is much simpler than that. The solution does not require turning your life upside down or following a plan that feels impossible to maintain. It is not about doing more and more. It is about understanding what your body actually needs and making a small shift that creates a big impact. Something that fits into your daily life without adding stress. Something that works quietly in the background, helping your body move back toward balance in a natural way. The number one trick is simple, yet it changes everything once you understand it. You need to lower your insulin levels regularly. That is the key. Instead of constantly trying to control calories or chase complicated routines, the focus shifts to giving your body a break from insulin being high all the time. Because as long as insulin stays elevated throughout the day, your body remains in storage mode, holding on to fat and struggling to access it for energy. The easiest way to start doing this is by stopping the habit of eating all the time. This does not mean starving yourself or following something extreme. It means creating natural gaps between meals so your body has time to let insulin drop. Every time you eat, insulin rises again, even with small snacks. When this happens again and again throughout the day, your body never gets the chance to reset. It stays in the same cycle without a pause. By simply reducing how often you eat, you allow those insulin levels to come down in between meals. This creates space for your body to shift its state. Instead of constantly storing energy, it begins to use what is already there. This small adjustment starts to change how your body responds over time. It becomes more balanced, more stable, and more efficient at managing energy without needing constant input from food. Every time you eat, your body releases insulin to manage the rise in blood sugar. This is a normal process, and it happens whether the meal is large or small. Even a quick snack triggers the same response. A biscuit, a piece of fruit, a handful of nuts, each one sends a signal that raises insulin again. When this pattern repeats throughout the day, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, insulin stays elevated for long periods without a real break. The body remains in a constant fed state where it focuses on storing energy rather than using it. As this continues day after day, the body adapts to this constant signal. It becomes used to having insulin around all the time. That steady presence keeps fat locked away and limits the body's ability to access stored energy. This is why energy levels feel unstable and why hunger returns quickly. The system never gets a chance to switch modes. When you stop eating for a while, something different begins to happen. Without new food coming in, insulin levels finally start to drop. The body senses the change and begins to shift its focus. Instead of storing, it turns toward using the energy it already has. Stored fat becomes available, and internal processes start moving in a more balanced direction. Over time, this repeated drop in insulin creates an environment where the body can slowly repair how it responds, allowing it to function in a steadier and more efficient way. Start by spacing your meals in a way that feels natural for your daily routine. Instead of eating every couple of hours, allow a clear gap between breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Give your body time to settle after each meal before introducing more food. This simple shift begins to reduce how often insulin is triggered throughout the day. At first, it may feel unusual because the habit of frequent eating is deeply ingrained, but with a little consistency, your body starts to adjust. Avoid constant snacking, even when it seems harmless. Small bites here and there can keep insulin elevated without you realizing it. A quick snack during work, something sweet after a meal, or a light bite late in the evening all add up. These moments keep your body in a continuous cycle of processing food. By removing these in between snacks, you create longer periods where your body can rest from digestion and allow insulin levels to come down naturally. You can also try a simple fasting window, such as 12 to 16 hours, depending on what feels manageable. This does not require skipping entire days of eating or following anything extreme. It can be as simple as finishing dinner earlier and having your first meal later the next day. During this time, your body has the opportunity to shift away from constant storage and begin using stored energy more efficiently. In between meals, focus on staying hydrated. Drinking water regularly helps manage hunger and keeps your body functioning smoothly. You can also include tea or black coffee if that suits your preference, as these do not raise insulin in the same way food does. Over time, these small and practical changes begin to shape a routine that supports balance without adding pressure. The biggest mistake often comes from something that seems completely harmless at first. It is the habit of eating healthy snacks throughout the day. You choose foods that are considered good for you, things like fruits, granola, yogurt, or nuts, and it feels like you are making the right decision. Because the food is healthy, it creates a sense of safety, as if it cannot be part of the problem. This is where the confusion begins, because the issue is not only about what you eat, but how often you eat. Each time you reach for a snack, even a healthy one, your body responds the same way. Insulin rises again to manage the incoming nutrients. When this happens multiple times between meals, the body never gets a real break. It stays in a constant state of processing and storing, without shifting into a phase where it can use stored energy. This pattern can continue all day without being noticed, especially when the portions are small and seem insignificant. Over time, this habit builds a cycle that keeps insulin elevated more than it needs to be. You might feel like you are staying disciplined by avoiding junk food, yet the frequency of eating keeps working against your progress. Hunger signals can also become less clear because the body is used to receiving food regularly. This makes it harder to tell the difference between true hunger and simple habit, leading to even more frequent eating throughout the day. When insulin begins to drop regularly, your body starts to shift in a noticeable way. Instead of staying locked in storage mode, it moves toward using the energy it has already stored. Fat that once felt stuck becomes available, and the process of burning it begins more naturally. This change does not rely on pushing harder or forcing extreme habits. It comes from allowing your body to return to a rhythm it was designed to follow. As this shift continues, energy levels start to feel more stable. Instead of sudden highs followed by crashes, there is a smoother flow throughout the day. You feel more alert in the morning, more focused during work, and less drained by simple tasks. The constant heaviness begins to lift, making it easier to stay active and consistent without feeling overwhelmed. Cravings also begin to change in a quiet but powerful way. The intense pull towards sugar and quick snacks becomes less frequent. Hunger feels more controlled and predictable, rather than urgent and demanding. You start to notice that you can go longer without thinking about food all the time. This creates a sense of freedom, where eating becomes a choice rather than a constant need. With these changes happening together, your body begins to feel more balanced. The signals that once felt confusing start to make sense again. Your system works in a steadier way, allowing you to follow a routine that feels sustainable and easier to maintain over time. So the reason nothing worked before was not your effort, and it was never about a lack of discipline. It was high insulin silently controlling how your body stores and uses energy. All the frustration, the slow progress, the constant struggle, it starts to make sense when you see what was really happening in the background. Once insulin stays high, your body follows that signal no matter how hard you try to push against it. And when you finally lower it in the right way, everything begins to shift in a direction that feels more natural and sustainable. Now I want to hear from you. Do you snack often or do you stick to full meals? Comment below and share your habit. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for simple health tips that actually work.